This is what's news in space for July 1st, 2009. NASA conducted a tanking test at the space agency's Kennedy Space Center in Florida on Wednesday, July 1st, to ensure repairs to Space Shuttle Endeavour's external fuel tank were successful. During the test, the external tank was filled with liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen, just as it is before launch. A hydrogen gas leak at the ground umbilical carrier plate postponed Endeavour's launch attempts on June 13th and 17th. The carrier plate is attached to the venting system used to carry excess hydrogen safely away from the launch pad. Engineers determined the most likely cause of the leak was a slight misalignment in the external tank carrier assembly. The assembly was fastened to the tank during manufacturing, and the misalignment likely was putting uneven pressure on a Teflon seal, causing a small leak when extremely low temperatures occurred during fueling.
In time a little bit and let you know how we got here today. This is one of those things that, in hindsight, you could look at the data we got. We went out and measured after the second scrub, looked at how the GUP, the ground umbilical carrier plate, and the vent arm was connected up to the external tank, took a bunch of measurements, and it became pretty apparent pretty quickly that it was really just an alignment issue, that we had kind of gotten a little off-center, which allowed a little gap to open up in the seal, which with hydrogen it doesn't take much of a gap to get a good leak path going, and so that was the cause of our leaks. We kind of knew that it was an alignment issue the first time around, but it's kind of a two-part thing. There's the seal that the quick disconnect plugs into and mates up, and that's where that leak was. And then the whole carrier plate has 2 feet that it sits on. It doesn't really carry the weight, but when we retract the arm, that's the pivot point that allows the carrier plate to pivot away from the side of the vehicle and then swing down out of the way on the service structure. And we had lined up the plate, and then we just put the feet where they had always been. And in hindsight, we kind of could go back and see that when we did that, when the feet moved where they wanted to be, they didn't stay where we put them. And so as things went on, that kind of opened up that gap again. So that's why we leaked the second time.
Technicians replaced the old seal with a 2-piece seal and added small washers to counter any movement of the external tank carrier assembly as the tank is fueled.
Disposition with no issue. For the tanking test, it was a 3-day test. We initiated it effectively Monday evening and started, basically our intent was to emulate a flight configuration. So we basically set it up. It almost looks and feels like a mini launch countdown. And so what we did was we began initiated the tanking operation of both liquid oxygen and hydrogen this morning at 6:48. We proceeded with a nominal tanking operation through the replenish, and then deployed the final inspection team out to perform their typical inspection of the external tank and the thermal protection system. During the course of that tanking operation, the previous 2 launch scrub times, we ended up effectively noting these leak indications at the transition from fast fill to topping. And in this case, there was absolutely no leak indications, and when we did transition all the way through the replenish operations, there were absolutely no leak indications whatsoever noted at our leak detectors 23 or 25 at that umbilical.
Endeavour's launch on the STS-127 mission is targeted for 7:39 p.m. on Saturday, July 11th. The 16-day mission to the International Space Station will feature 5 spacewalks and complete construction of the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency's Kibo laboratory. Astronauts will attach a platform to the outside of the Japanese module that will allow experiments to be exposed to space.
At this point, the next few days, we're going to secure from the tanking test till Friday. On Sunday evening, we'll be performing a range safety ordnance reconnection and retest operation, and then pick up with launch countdown preps on Monday. Start the launch countdown Wednesday evening, and moving towards a launch attempt on Saturday the 11th. Window open is at 7:34 p.m. And I believe the crew arrives here at KSC Tuesday evening on the 7th. So in summary, I'm pleased to report we've had a very successful tanking test. Our preliminary data looks outstanding. We'll continue to look at the data over the next few days and report back out to the program leadership later early next week. And our next step is to move forward towards launch next on the 11th of July. Thank you.
Thank you for watching and listening. This has been a daily space update for July 1st, 2009. To watch our archive of podcasts, please visit our website at dailyspaceupdate.com. And for the latest in space news and multimedia, visit the Spacearium at www.spacearium.com or spaceflightnews.net. And be sure to tune in to the next Daily Space Update. Thank you for watching and listening. This has been a daily space update for July 1st, 2009. To watch our archive of podcasts, please visit our website at dailyspaceupdate.com. And for the latest in space news and multimedia, visit the Spacearium at www.spacearium.com or spaceflightnews.net. And be sure to tune in to the next Daily Space Update.